Hello, everybody, and welcome to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and Road America. This is the inaugural event here in the Arcade Designs Championship Series, and currently qualifying is underway for the first ever event. I am Chad Irvine. Here with me is Dylan Livengood and PD Vagos here in the booth, as well as our wonderful, drop dead gorgeous, and incredible producer, Zack Johnson here. Dylan, it's going to be a fun one here at a very iconic track here in North America.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's going to be the first time that the NASA guys are going to be running an open wheel series. I do believe we've tried it many times in the past, but just never really came to fruition. And now that we got a good car count here this week, I think it's going to be exciting through the rest of the series as well.
Yeah, this is a third series to add to the repertoire here in the NASA Nitro partnership. About 2 years ago, I think the end of 2020, we added the sports cars that run tomorrow night. And then this is the first season of these cars, of course, to add to the Rallycross series that's been going on for a decade now, Dylan, I think?
Pretty close to it, almost. And it's cool because we're seeing a lot of familiar names that are going to be running both series. Like, you have both the Kingsburys here. I see Flynn's coming back to run a couple races. Just a whole bunch of good guys. Magnus Okenhaug. So a lot of fast guys from Rallycross are coming over here to do this right now.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, and I'm looking forward to the season. We also have your very own broadcast partner. Well, I guess your former but current Rallycross commentator from Monday Nights in Rallycross, Josh Mertz, going to be giving his hand behind the wheel. I don't expect him to do very well, but that's just because I like to rag on him. So I'm calling my shot. He is not going to win a race this season, and you deserve that one, Josh. But hey. Petey, we'll bring you in here for the first time. Anything going on over in Twitchland?
Sorry, guys.
Oh, there he is.
I was on mute there, but not a lot of action going on there so far. But we got our first fan from Marwan in here, wishing that he was part of this racing series. But yeah, we'll check in a little bit.
Yeah, Marwan, known for his rallycross skills, taught me the little bit that I actually know about turning right on dirt. So shout out to you, Marwan. Great to see you in the chat there. And going through qualifying right now. Looks like this is actually Josh Mertz himself completing his second lap, or third lap, sorry. He is across the line and did not set a time. I don't see him showing up.
I see him around 14th fastest.
Oh, there he is. He is way up there compared to where he was in practice. I was just completely ignoring him. But most of these guys are running the red tires here in qualifying. Those are the faster alternate tires. So they're going to have faster speeds out of the gate, but they're going to fall off quicker compared to the black tires that are the primary here in the IR18. And Dylan, have you run these cars very much? What are your thoughts on them?
I have not, to be honest with you. I've had it in my inventory for quite a while, and it just never. I've gotten to run maybe one or two road oval races in these cars, but really not a whole lot. So, new car for me. But if it's anything like the old open wheel car, it should be, it should be some pretty fun racing. Guys getting close. I think you can beat and bang a little bit more in these cars. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, this is a look at Robbie the Real working on his qualifying lap. Currently sits 26th. One more lap in him, I do believe. So Robbie currently trying to improve his time. The Aussie coming from down under. He's runs a couple of series here. I think that he also runs both the Monday and Thursday nights. I can't remember for sure, but we've seen him around these parts, and it's great to see so many familiar faces here in this league. So it's going to be fun to watch. As we've got just over a minute left. Ray Kingsbury on pole right now, and Josh Klog currently in the second spot. I believe that he is. I think those guys are both teammates, sharing setups. And overall, these guys are doing a great job, just kind of getting through qualifying and having fun with it. The camaraderie here in the series has been great to see as well. But
And that's truly what makes NASA NASA.
I was gonna say it's such a fun track and such a fun group of guys as well. Yeah, the community, everybody can work with each other. You'll see guys maybe sharing some, maybe not their best setups, but they'll share some setups. And yeah, but as we get under a minute left here in qualifying, what are your thoughts here at Elkhart Lake in Road America?
My biggest question here is, so these guys running on the soft compounds, are they going to be stuck on those for the green flag, or do they didn't get a chance to swap those out?
They will get a chance to swap them out, but you do have to run both tire compounds during the race. So you will have to make one pit stop, and those are going to be fun to watch. Do you start on the reds? Do you start on the blacks? I'm always a fan of save your fastest stuff for the end. So put your reds on when you got lower fuel and just absolutely eat it through every single corner.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I've been too. It's nice to be able to save your best for last because you know exactly what you have. For the most part, and it's kind of like rallycross too. You don't want to take your jokers too early and show all of your cards, so it'll be interesting to see how the strategy is going to play out. I think that's going to be one of the things that's in the back of my mind, with me not really being a road course type of guy. I know that road courses, they always have some sort of strategy on them, so it'll be exciting.
And that wraps up qualifying, so we can take a look through our grid here for today's race. From Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Ray Kingsbury on the pole with Josh Klog to his outside. Then Blake Reynolds and Trevor Greenfield, row number 2. Christian Malarchuk and Tom Abramatis in row number 3. Then Nick Indelsito and David Schofield, row 4. And David Adams and Flynn Lazier wrapping up the top 10.
Yeah, and a couple of guys outside of the top 10 that we know are going to be fast. Joe Branch, Josh Mertz, Magnus Okenhaug, really with not a very good qualifying lap. I'll be interested to see how he improves on the grid here.
Yeah, Magnus Okenhaug making his debut in the yellow, I want to call it teal and pink of Team Watson Racing. He's got a couple of drivers in the field here for that team, so it's going to be fun to watch those guys you see right in front of him as well. Victor Aldrich is another member of Team Watson Racing. So those Watson guys, I know them from another league, and they are very fun. I race with them actually on Monday nights in Rallycross. So if you're ever around for those races, Dylan, you can definitely, watch me crash the heck out of every single Lamborghini Beetle that I race in that series. But looks like we're going to be set for a full pace lap here. So
and then I just wanted to mention...
we got a little bit of time to kill. What you got?
Yeah, I wanted to mention, too, if you guys are interested in the series, it's super easy to sign up. I believe there's a website now. It's nasaracing.tk.
It's nasadiscord.tk, or you can type !Discord in the chat as well. So those are the best ways to work their way over. We've got series Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights, and it's always a fun time. So drivers right now just wishing each other the best of luck over the chat, and they're getting themselves set. And we've got a couple of seconds to strap ourselves in and buckle down, and it's going to be a fun one here as we get set for the inaugural event here in the Arcade Designs Championship Series, with Ray Kingsbury, the sponsor of the series, sitting on the pole in the first ever race.
Yeah, and I'll bet you he's probably one of the guys who's the most prepared and most excited out of the drivers in this field. I mean, he's got to be pumped up now with that qualifying position. Great lap by him.
Yeah, he qualified on pole by a little over a tenth of a second on his teammate, but he's very familiar with these cars. I know he races them in a couple of different series, so he's definitely going to be set out there for that one. Couple other drivers that I want to talk about real quick. I mean, Josh Klog, we mentioned him. Blake Reynolds, very skilled of a driver as well. Nick, I'm going to butcher his last name all season long, even though I just asked him for pronunciation. Abramitis, currently starting in the 6th position. So he is going to be out there. He actually works for iRacing, working on a bunch of different cars. So going to be fun to watch him throughout the season. I know him through another separate Discord. Looks like we already have some trouble under pacing. Cody Erdman involved there as well. So that's Cody Erdman there in the 29, as well as, I think, who's the other car that was That was the 71 of Jacob Falcon. Wonder if we can try to figure out, can we go back and see what happened on that? Because that was, so they go, crest the hill. Oh, and just Falcon did not slow. Falcon, we saw his nose, his front wing pop completely off. I wonder how much damage there is to that car of Cody Erdman. Here's a better look at it from the other side of the Sargento Bridge. Yeah, it looks like he just checked up for the cars in front. Yeah, they crest the hill. Everybody checked up, and then unfortunately, Jacob Falcon not able to do the same.
Yeah, and I'll bet you Cody Erdman's going to be really hot under the hood there.
Well, it looks like Cody did have to take a tow, so he is currently sitting in the pits. That's unfortunate to see here, as we have trouble before we even complete the first lap here at the Arcade Designs Championship Series.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to plan on your pacing lap. It's going to set him behind all race here. What's going to be starting? I'm trying to see here.
25th is where he would have started, so he was already towards the back. Fortunately, though, that was further enough back in the field it didn't cause any issues behind him.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if we'll see a full course caution here at all. I mean, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, there are admin-enabled cautions here in the series, so if there's something major like the track is blocked or a couple cars spin directly in front of the lead group, we could see a caution thrown. But these guys worked their way through the final couple of corners, and I am very excited. I've been waiting all week to get this series started.
Yeah, I think you and me both. I've definitely been wondering, when does it start? When is it starting? Are we going to be commentating yet? And here it is. Finally, day comes. It actually did come by pretty quick, to be honest with you. So I'm glad to be sitting here next to you commentating, Chad.
I'm glad to be here with you as well. They're getting their tires warmed up. You see Ray Kingsbury wiggling and trying to get as much heat in those tires as possible. But there you see the Spark teammates on the front row for Spark Last Lap Motorsports. That is Ray Kingsbury on the pole, Josh Clogg to the outside of row number 1 on a track that's very familiar to most of these drivers. They let the pace car pull away from them. Pace car down to pit road, and the green flag is out, and we're underway in the Arcade Designs Championship Series.
Clean start by everyone just trying to follow in here.
So far, so good. It's a long run up the hill and down to turn number 1, but so far, so good. Everybody clean through turn number 1. Oh, there's a car loose on the infield. Trying to figure out who that was, but looks like they have collected it. So far, we are clean and underway here in the Arcade Designs Championship Series.
Yeah, it looks like that was going to be the number 28 of Joe Branch there that got a little bit loose and lost some track position.
No harm, no foul. Back underway, though, as Ray Kingsbury is out in front, and he's got a couple car length lead over Zack. Blake Reynolds, I believe, that's taking the second position from Josh Clogg.
Yeah, we're having a couple of guys that are getting a little slip slidey over the rumble strips now, but it looks like these guys have mostly filed single file here all the way throughout the field. Just getting to the point where you just got to start logging laps.
And it looks like Jacob Falcon now has left the pit lane after getting taking his toe and getting his front nose changed. There is another car that is coming out of pit road now as well. That's the 11 of Robbie Lareal. Looks like he might have missed the start, but he gets rolling. And now Cody Erdman leaving pit road as well. So everybody that was involved in that pre-race crash seems to be back on track at this point. But the field now working their way down out of turn the final couple of corners, as we do, it looks like, have a new leader, and that's going to be Blake Reynolds to the point.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that it looks like he gained 2 positions. Wonder what ended up happening going back through here. If anything happened to Ray Kingsbury. Oh, looks like Kingsbury got off the course and got in the grass a little bit. And that's when Reynolds put the pass on him, and then...
And we've got a move here for 4th. It looks like Greenfield trying to make a move on Josh Clogg, and he's going to get it done going into turn number 1. The biggest thing, I think, for these guys is realizing it is a long, long race. So I think that Josh just let Trevor go there going into turn number 1, realizing, hey, I've got plenty of racing to get this back. But you'll see, we talked about it in the pre-race, a lot of guys electing to start on those alternate red tires. But it looks like our front couple of guys actually started on the primary blacks.
Yeah, so wonder if there's maybe any strategy there. And maybe, yeah, there's definitely gonna be a strategy there. I don't know if the harder compound where's the tire heat in more, or
And you can see there on the right side of the ticker, we've got 3 drivers in the top 10 on the alternate reds. You do have to run. Oh, that was very close to a rear end collision there. Oh, but then the car around as well. Is that Flynn Lazier? No, that's the 99 in Nick Indelsadio, or Nick Indelicato. I am gonna butcher this name all season. I'm gonna butcher these names all season. You guys have to give me crap for it because I deserve it. But anyway, multiple cars were involved in that one, but it looks like so it almost actually looks like there was a checkup, accordion effect, as a couple of guys like Malcharek and Abramatis were trying to work their way through. There was just an accordion behind them, and that's what caused that incident. But it looks like out front, Ray Kingsbury right on the back wing of Blake Reynolds once again.
yeah, and these guys are gonna have to be careful if these guys are on the softer compound, that they don't get a caution that gets thrown here early on in the race and throws everything or bunches everything back up.
Yeah, and there you see Ray trying to make the most of the slipstream, could not get alongside going into turn number 1, and thought better of making that move. And so he's going to drop back in line about 4 car lengths behind Blake Reynolds for the first spot.
And I'm going back in the field here. It looks like Flynn Lazier is trying to get past another guy for 7th here. Tom Abramatis down on the inside of him, giving each other plenty of room.
Yeah, very competent racers. I know Flynn Lazier, that last name sounds familiar to some of you out there. His father is Buddy Lazier, Indy 500 champion. Flynn also himself races in, I believe, is the Indy Pro 2000 series. I've seen him race a couple of times through that series over the years. So only a partial real world schedule for him this year. Raced the first 2 events of the season, and unfortunately did not have enough funding to continue. But hope to see him back in a race car in the real world here pretty soon, because he is a very talented driver. Just got to give him the right machinery to get the job done.
Yeah, it's always cool. I mean, I guess if we could break down the 4th wall here for a bit, it's always cool to see people who run the actual real life cars be able to come over and tear it up on the virtual machines. I mean, that's kind of something that I did for a while. I've been involved at local short track racing for quite a while, and it does transfer over. The driving definitely does. And Flynn Lazier, no stranger to road courses at all.
No, this is one of his favorite ones. And if I remember correctly, actually, last year at this exact track, he had oh, and that's off track. That's one of the Team Watson racing drivers. Is that? I think that might have been Magnus Okenhag. Yep, that was Magnus Okenhag that went off track. I believe it was this exact course last year. Flynn Lazier actually had an incident in a practice session or a test session, and unfortunately broke his wrist pretty severely, so that took him out of the car for quite some time. But fortunately, he has recovered from that wreck and seems to be running pretty well here, currently up into the 6th position.
Leaders coming up on lap traffic now. It's going to be Cody Irvine going another lap down.
Yeah, somehow Cody has stayed on the lead lap so far. The tow ended up getting him back to the pits just as the race was starting. So he was able to not lose a lap yet, at least according to my timing and scoring. But a couple of drivers, looks like Jacob Falcon has already possibly parked it. Is very close there. Oh, and that's a car around trying to figure out who that is on the other side of the bridge. And there's some, oh, that's Jack Belt. Oh, unfortunate for Jack. We talked about him last week during our sports car series. Diagnosed last season with, I believe it was Hodgkin's lymphoma. With, I believe it was either that. Oh, very close again, raking right over that. But everybody, you know, kind of rallied around him and supported him as he couldn't race last season. Great to see him back in the car. And the community really rallied around him last season. Everybody rocking the purple ribbons all over the race cars. Racing for Jack was on a bunch of cars as well. So those guys were really doing a great job to support the community member. But we've got a battle for the lead on our hands. Your second place starter, Josh Klug, dropped back to 4th. and Trevor Greenfield currently running third. I know Trevor kind of runs, I don't know that he's on Team Spark LLM, but I know he runs with them. I believe he is actually. He's running the same livery, so I believe he is, but he does run with them over in a couple of other IndyCar series. He is a very skilled driver here in the R18 as Ray Kingsbury sends it up the inside in turn number 5.
Yeah, it's going to be a side-by-side battle here. Looks like it's going to calm down for now.
Oh, and he gets the position right back. Does Blake Reynolds? Wow. They just keep switching it back and forth. These guys don't want to give each other an inch of space, but they're very respectful with their racecraft. But the thing to note that we've talked about early on, you've got Reynolds on the alternate reds, Ray Kingsbury on the blacks. You do have to run both sets, and they're still side by side.
Yeah, amazing work by both of these guys that they're putting on right now. It's definitely been fun to watch.
And right behind them, Trevor Greenfield licking his chops, hoping that he can find a way through both of them if something happens, as Ray Kingsbury now sends it up the inside. Oh, in trouble for Tom Abramatis. He gets into the tire barrier coming out of, I believe that's towards the end of the track at some point. There's another car off there as well. That's unfortunate to see for Tom. His steering is all cattywampus, not what you want to see there. And that's one of the Arcade Design Machines cars as well that was involved. But then you see, Tom just now trying to limp it back to the pits, take as much tow time off it as possible, but I don't think he's going to be able to. We do have a change for the lead, though. Ray Kingsbury clear by 2 cars over Blake Reynolds.
Yeah, and that corner that everyone wrecked in, that was it's been a corner that these guys are really starting to struggle with the tire wear going out. And I know for Matt Kingsbury and those guys, there's a group of them on a certain setup, and they're kind of really struggling with tire wear. So I think that's why we're starting to see some guys fall back. But I mean, the top 6 seem to be under a tablecloth right now.
Yeah, you see them all lined up there nose to tail with a bit of a gap out the back. That's Flynn Lazier at the back of the train. He's got about a full second back to David Adams running second. And I said second, I meant 7th, but starting that second train that they're running. So words are hard. I am never good at them, but
I'll keep this in my notebook of things to throw back in your face. No.
You feel free to. I definitely don't mind it at all. If you can't pick on your friends, they're not really the best of friends, are they?
Right. That's the way I view it.
By the way, that turn that we did see Tom losing, that was actually Canada corner. That's the very northern end of the racetrack, just about as close as you can get in terms of racing circuits to Canada, which is where that name comes from. That's the northernmost corner. And the wind actually, as they're coming down the back straightaway into Canada corner right now, it is blowing at 17 miles an hour towards that direction. As we take a look here at our weather just below the timing there, you see the ambient temperature 84, track temperature 108 degrees, as it's currently 3:17 virtual standard time here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. So that wind is going to be pushing them towards Canada corner, but also that high track temperature means it's going to be slick out there for these guys.
And one guy who likes slick, and we haven't really talked about him much all day, he's been a little bit of a dark horse so far in these first couple of laps. Josh Mertz has made his way up to the end of the 10th position.
I'm very surprised to see that, because Josh was struggling, it looked like, in practice. But, man, he got the job done, and he's already worked his way up. And there's Cody Erdman currently. He was actually, I think he was involved. Yeah, he was involved in an early incident, and unfortunately he now has spun once again. I don't see much damage to the race car, though, so I think that he's going to be okay. Yeah, the front wing looks fine, and he seems to be driving okay. I don't think there was any contact. We just have to let him limp it back around and maybe get a change of tires. I don't know how much he scorched them.
Oh, and there's a car hard in the wall. It's going to be Matt Kingsbury is in the wall.
I am surprised to see that. Matt Kingsbury, a very skilled driver in these cars. I've watched him race them a bunch of times, but unfortunately he's got way too much damage on the front left is all askew, and he's going to collect the wall once again.
Unfortunately, having to retire there, that's definitely a tough break for him. I know he was really looking to do well this race.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a couple of guys that have already parked their cars. Jacob Falcon is done for the day. Nick has retired as well. Tom Abramatis is currently sitting in the pit lane as well. And these guys are currently, we got 3 cars currently sitting in the pits. Matt Kingsbury currently tumbling down the timing and scoring. But Ray Kingsbury up to a 2-second lead, as it looks like we had a car run just a little bit wide there. But still, single file from Ray Kingsbury. Now Trevor Greenfield has inherited second place, and it looks like Josh Clogg trying to make a move. I'm sorry, that's that Flynn Lazier trying to make a move. He locks up the tires on entry, but he's going to get the move done for the 4th spot on Josh Clogg.
Oh no.
And that was Trevor Greenfield you just saw wiggle right there. So he's going to lose a ton of spots. So he's going to go from 2nd all the way back to 7th in just 1 corner. So he's got to get his tires cooled back down. He's got to recoup and recover, get those nerves back under in check. And
we got another car off.
That's Mr. Kieran Big Dog Forrest out there. He's, we've seen him in multiple series. He runs both the sports cars and the rallycross races on Mondays. So he's very familiar to the series, as well as being on the board of the series. So doing everything he can. He runs the number 42 to honor Jackie Robinson, one of his idols growing up, and doing his best to make that car look good out there. And it's a very, very good looking Spark Last Lap Motorsports machine currently out there pretty far back. We've got our first pit stop under green flag condition. That's going to be Blake Reynolds. I think he's going to want to get, I would have thought he's wanted to get off those red tires, so he's probably going to make his way down and do that. So is 9 laps as far as these tires can go?
It could be. These guys are probably looking at the fall off, and let's see. I'll go for Ray here, for example. Looks like his last, or I can't do it off of his last lap, but 146.61 to 144.503 for Flynn Lazier in qualifying. So much slower on those tires.
And compared to qualifying, even that's going to be on low fuel and everything. Flynn's best lap of the race is 145.7. That's on these current tires, as well as a full tank of fuel. He's currently up to the 146.6. So Flynn, you can see the tire falling off even on the on any tires, basically. These guys just absolutely logging laps out there. Already working lap number 9 of 26 here in the first ever race of the Arcade Designs Championship Series.
Yeah, that's what you got to do right now. We're just kind of in the middle of, okay, it's not quite the start of the race, and it's not quite halfway. That's usually when we start seeing people kind of drift off a little bit, not perform as well. And then, I mean, if these tires are starting to go out, then, these guys are really going to have a handful in their hands.
When the tires are worn and the car and the fuel gets burning off, the car gets very light. It gets very upset by that. So it's going to be interesting to see how these things play out. Look at them climb that hill. Another taker onto pit road. That's going to be David Adams pitting from the 5th spot. He's going to have a long way down pit road, as he's going to get passed by plenty of cars. Just going to have to see where he cycles out. Blake Reynolds has made his stop. He is dropped pretty far down the grid, but he is back out under pit road. 8-second stop for him, taking 4 fresh tires and a bunch of fuel.
Yeah, these guys just trying to leapfrog the rest of the field, I think is what they're trying to do here. And they might not be able to get in a winning position, but they might be able to be in a better position than they were at before the pit stop. So that's key right there.
Yeah, your top 4, you see it there, all running on the black tires. I would expect them to be able to last a little bit longer. Trevor Greenfield, another driver for Team Spark Last Lap Motorsports, currently in the 5th position. He is on the reds. You see the big, bright red ring around the tires there. That indicates that that's the softer alternate tire, so it's not going to last as long. So we're going to have to see when he comes into pit. For Trevor so far, his tires have fallen off. His lap time is 2 seconds slower than when he started the race.
Oh, and I got a car around there.
and that's David Adams that is going around. That's interesting to see because he just coming out of the pits. So
Yeah, cold tires are really hard to race on sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to say, cold tires, got to get him up to temperature. I just got a message from Tom Apromatus in Discord. Just a big, sad Pepe. He is not feeling good about himself after his wreck. Sorry to see there, Tom. And still trying to get the tires up to temperature. Is that another spin?
That is.
Wow. So that just shows how patient you have to be getting these things back up to temperature. And I think, if I remember right, the Reds do come up to temperature a little bit quicker as well. It's easier to get them up to proper operating temperatures here. So I'm going to have to watch out for that. And that's one thing I kind of forgot about, actually, just kind of in terms of getting these cars running in the right, in terms of pit stops is tire temperature. So great to see. And
well, definitely, because you do most of your practice on tires that get warmed up. It's those little certain race situations that you don't normally hit or do reps during practice on. So, just it's something every driver has to fight, and some are prepared more than others. So
we've finished our 10th lap here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Ray Kingsbury, number 1. Then it's Flynn Lazier, Josh Klog, Christian Malcharek, and Trevor Greenfield, your top 5.
Yeah, and if I were these guys staying out, I would probably at least wait till lap 16 to go in. Maybe not. That might be able to get a couple of guys to leapfrog in their strategy, but be interesting.
Apparently, according to Tom, he actually got murdered by somebody, so we must have missed that one. So that's unfortunate. I thought that it was just self-spin. There's another car into the wall. We got cars dropping out left and right. And that was your 4th position of Christian Malcharek. Wow. Going to have to see if that car is okay because he collected the wall pretty hard with the left side. And once again, that was actually, I think that was in Canada corner once again. Wow. So Ray Kingsbury still with a 2-second lead over Flynn Lazier, then Josh Klog. But they've got a huge gap back now to Malcharek, who somehow did not lose a spot, but he is losing time at a very consistent rate. And yeah, it looks like he is off track once again. Actually, that's Dickinson all the way back down in now 20th position running wide. As you see there, that's Ray Kingsbury, I believe your leader coming up behind to lap him. Yes,
clean pass made there.
Almost running wide there as he goes under the Johnsonville Bridge. And yeah, just off the pace. I think you'll probably see a pit stop from him here in the next couple of laps to get new tires and just kind of work your way back out on track.
Yeah, and Kingsbury is going to be, it's going to be everyone against Kingsbury right here because Ray's a very, very consistent driver. It's very hard to get him to make mistakes. So these guys are going to have to really pounce on it or try to leapfrog him on the strategy if they really want to get the W.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 as they run right now for Team Spark Last Lap Motorsports. All three of their 4 drivers of Kingsbury, Lazier, and Klog. Trevor Greenfield, I think it's their 4th driver. So those guys, 4 out of the top 5. Very skilled guys here in the R18. And is that Flynn Lazier just kind of bobbing and weaving down the front straightaway? Interesting strategy. Maybe just trying to get some speed in those tires. I'm not exactly sure. Christian Malcharek, though, does come to pit road. So he's going to pit from the 5th position. And Josh Mertz going to follow him down pit road as well.
So lap 13 coming on 14 looks like is when these guys are going to make their switch over to the softer compound. And actually, one of our biggest movers in the field is Flynn Lazier running in that 2nd position.
You just saw another car off out there and another car around as well. That's Brian Sohn from Penguin RC. Very recognizable car. And we appreciate you, Brian, for all of your sponsorship work you do with our series. But Unfortunately, you can't keep it pointed in the right direction. Keep it going, Brian. Keep your head up. You got this, man. And another spinner around. That's the 117. That is Jack Belton. Jack once again around. I think that's the second time we've seen him with the back end step out. But, and he goes around again. The tires are just absolutely scorched at this point. Keep it out of the barrier. Gonna have to see if there's any damage to that rear wing. Oh, that was actually just a replay. Sorry. Anyway, I have to see if the back wing there is okay for Jack. Here's a look at your race leader once again of Ray Kingsbury back up front, and he's going to dive down to pit road.
Yeah, it looks like Jack ended up getting a tow. Top three are in the pits.
Yep, Ray Kingsbury in. Flynn Lazier comes down pit road. Josh Clogg in as well. Trevor Greenfield, he comes in as well. So all your top four are in. Gonna have to see when Kieran Big Dog, Forrest David Schofield, and Seth Farrells come down pit road.
Yeah, and you got to remember these guys like Christian and Kieran. They've had incidents on their outlaps, and they haven't really had the cleanest pit stops. So it'll be interesting to see how far. It looks like everyone's coming in.
Yeah, Forrest Schofield are both in as well. Victor Aldridge comes down pit road as well for Team Watson Racing. So where do guys cycle out? Blake Reynolds looks like he might inherit the lead, actually. Oh, it's close. But Kingsbury holds on.
Wow, incredible.
And you'll see here, this is where cold tires come into play. Kingsbury knows he's got that pressure behind him, but he knows that he has to hold on. He's on the faster tire, but he's still got half the race left to go. I don't know if the Reds can last that long.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to let Blake Reynolds by here. Then just get ready to log some more laps, maybe save a little bit of that fresh, that good rubber, you know? Good stuff.
Yeah, just waiting for those tires to hit the optimal temperature. Ray Kingsbury really great at doing that and getting these cars pointing in the right, keeping it pointed in the right direction. You see Blake there, a little bit of a wiggle on corner exit, but he keeps things rolling, and he's feeling the pressure. Now Kingsbury breathing down his neck. Let's check in real quick here with our friend over in Twitchland. Hopefully he didn't get lost this time on his way back to the booth. Petey, how's things going over there?
Hey guys, just checking in from Twitchland. Things a little quiet over here on the Twitch channels right now. Yeah, we're just enjoying some racing.
I'll say, where geographically, where is Twitchland? I mean, is it like in a physical location? Like, where is it? Middle of nowhere, okay.
I believe it's a very top secret bunker in the middle of Fort Knox there, so.
Oh, that's why he can't. Oh my, are we going to be
we got
wide
for the lead?
3 wide for the lead, wow.
As we were checking our maps, this happened.
So that was out of nowhere. Flynn Lazier really wanted to send it there, and he did. He's on the inside now of Blake Reynolds. Can he get the position? I don't think he's going to have the momentum.
And it looks like Kingsbury's going to reassume the second position here as we go on board with him.
I think Kingsbury and Lazier are going to have to just tuck themselves in line. I don't want to say team orders because those are illegal here in the NASA.
Oh, yes, they are.
But
I made sure of that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they said, hey, let's just tuck in line here. Let's just get by Blake Reynolds here and see if we can't get something done. I think Blake is the one in the catbird seat. He's got the strategy playing to his advantage. He's on the tires are going to last just a little bit longer.
What happened to Lazier?
That was out of nowhere. Yeah, something did happen. Did Flint? It looks like he's in pit road once again.
So I'll back up my monitor, take a look here.
He is in the pits. I thought that he pitted not too long ago, but it looks like something's happened. You see a puff of smoke out the back there. Wow. I thought that these computers had. Yeah, you see there the engine just goes. I thought these computers had engine or computer, shift aids or whatever. You can't downshift wrong, but apparently that's not the case, and he just taught me that one. So Flynn Lazier, unfortunately, from the third position, not going to be in contention for this race.
Yeah, that's going to be heartbreak central for all the Lazier fans. He's doing so well. Hate to see these guys drop out of the top 5 when they got a good run going on.
Yeah, so Flynn Lazier dropping like a stone from that third position. Now going to finish towards the back of the field. Blake Reynolds still in the lead. Then Kingsbury, Clogg, Greenfield, and Adams. And that's the gap for the lead. Kingsbury's tires should be up to temperature now. Last time by was a 146 for Reynolds, 148 for Kingsbury. He lost a ton of time, but he was also battling with his teammates. So now he's got some clean track. He's going to have the slipstream from Blake Reynolds. Question is how much push to pass do these guys have remaining?
Yeah, and if you look at the grand scheme of things, I guess Kingsbury kind of got screwed by Lazier for having to race him for position, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get this margin cut back up.
Yeah, so the gap now 0.3 of a second. It was over a second earlier on this lap. I think Kingsbury is absolutely burning his push to pass, as he's going to tuck right back in line here behind Blake Reynolds. Blake flying once again, gets the power down. Now through the final corner of the racetrack, and this is where you need to be on the button. Kingsbury dives to the inside, 2 tires on the grass, gets the right sides there. And now tucking in line, and coming back into the pits once again is Blake Reynolds.
So that's going to be interesting. Are they going to switch back to the softs then?
I think he's going to have to. I think he's going to stay on him because he's already run both sets of tires. I'm not entirely sure the strategy decision is going to be have to see where he cycles out, because he is down into the 4th position right now, and he's going to lose a couple more by the time that he gets to stop over with.
Yeah, and I can't see any reason why he'd be in pit lane other than to switch compounds.
And there was almost an incident between him and Kingsbury as well, just between the two of them, because it was unexpected for him to come to pit road. So Kingsbury dove up the inside, and Reynolds got by, but Reynolds drops all the way back to the 4th spot as he rejoins back on track. This is the battle between Josh Mertz and Kieran Forrest. That's for the 6th spot. And Kieran puts in a bunch of practice. I know Josh was saying he didn't get a ton of time in the cars this week, so he's out there now absolutely flying. Josh doing his best to make up. He's already worked his way into the top 10. He's one of your biggest movers so far, from 14th starting on the grid up to the 7th spot.
Yeah, and if you go back to the beginning of the race here, those two started next to each other, so... But definitely, you can see how much faster the fresh tires are. As Mertz got made quick work of himself.
Yeah, Josh Mertz currently actually has 1 lap fresher tires, but I believe they are on different compounds right now. Meanwhile, Blake Reynolds on his out lap, so he's going to have some work to do here, as you see these guys now working their way down the back straightaway towards Canada Corner. So Kingsbury still in the lead with a large gap back to his teammate Greenfield in 3rd. Josh Clogg 2 seconds back, still riding here following. That's Kieran Forrest, currently in the 6th position. Now up into 5th, actually, is another driver down pit road.
Yeah, and it looks like we did get an update here from Flynn Lazier. The engine did expire on that, and he's saying that the water temps got too high.
Very interesting. I wonder if that's going to impact his teammates, because they're all probably going to be running the same setup. That was Joe Branch that we saw diving down pit road, by the way. So he is going to make his stop. That's, I think, his first. But yeah, Ray Kingsbury and Josh Clogg, your top 2. Wonder if we can't get another look at our tires and see which these guys are on. I think they're both going to be on the reds here. Yes, they both are. Trevor Greenfield, he's going to be on the alternate blacks. He's got to make up some time, but towards the end of the run, we've seen guys make up a second lap on the blacks compared to the reds.
And I do apologize. I got to step aside here for a couple of minutes, and I will be back in the booth.
And that is Mike Berry there in his protest machine. You'll see he had some logos that unfortunately had to be removed from the car. So it just says beverage on the side of it. But Mike Berry, wow. I mean, we saw him, I think, season 1 and season 2 in the Touring Car Championship, Sports Car Series. But he unfortunately went around. That's going to be his first lap that he has lost. So he's currently in the 18th position there towards the back of the field. From talking to him as well, he is actually starting school, and he unfortunately, for whatever reason, boneheaded move by him, decided to schedule a class for the same time as these races. So I think this might be the only opportunity he has to run this season. Have to see if he might call in sick a time or two. Here you see Kieran Forrest all over the back of Blake Reynolds, but I think Reynolds just got around him actually. So Reynolds is going to have to start charging hard up through the field. And we see a driver there into the wall. Is that Mertz? That's Dan Ench. That's another one of the Spark Last Lap Motorsports cars. Those cars look very similar. I saw the purple with the white trim. That was Dan Ench. Dan, very good on the ovals in these cars. I know him from the Last Lap Motorsports team as well. Ran the 24 Hours of Le Mans with him a couple of years ago. And I just remember I was trying to keep the man awake at 3 in the morning. Him and I were rocking out. I was singing him all kinds of songs or whatever popped into my head. We would rap on and off, and just he'd sing country songs back to me. So he's a great guy, very fun driver, and unfortunate to see him collect the wall there. But Ray Kingsbury still in the lead, his teammate up at the front of the field.
And then Chad, just want to jump in and let you know I'm back.
Well, welcome back to the booth. As Ray Kingsbury still is in the lead. We saw Dan Ench collect the wall, but not too much has changed otherwise. Blake Reynolds still hard on the charge, working his way up.
Yeah, it looks like things are pretty quiet here for the most part on the track.
Yeah, very spread out through the fields. As it's the oldest tires on track right now are actually Brian Sohn back in the 16th spot, but as well David Adams currently in 4th position. He's got 4 lap older tires than just about anybody else. Meanwhile, the car right behind him, Blake Reynolds, he's on some of the freshest tires on track. He's currently turning lap number 4.
Yeah, it looks like we got a little bit of a battle heating up here for about the 13th position. Got Cody Cosgrove, Joe Branch, and Christopher Hickman all battling for position.
And those guys work their way up the hill across the start-finish line. Looks like Jack Belton over in Twitchline. What a day for Spark LLM. Don't count your chickens before they hatch, but these guys absolutely making mincemeat of this track and of the field right now, as the top 3 are all racing for the same team.
Yeah, and I think one thing we need to emphasize here is just how much the teams are aligned with each other, or how there's different teams in the team that are aligned with each other within the 2 separate teams, both very different setups, but a lot of different guys being on the same setup. So, if you're off by just a little bit, it can affect the whole team.
Yeah, and that's something I noticed from talking with the Dirt Esports guys of Cosgrove, Mertz, Kingsbury, and Lareal. They were trying a completely different setup from high to low downforce just in the pre-race practice session, trying to figure out what worked best from them. I think they ended up going with their high downforce setup. David Adams now, by the way, comes to pit from P number 4. But it's going to be interesting to watch as these guys continue to work their way around the track, because last lap, the fastest speed was a 1:45.958. That was by Blake Reynolds. He's on the fresher tires. He is on the primary blacks, are going to last a little bit longer. but he's got a lot of ground to make up if he wants to catch Kingsbury and Clog and Greenfield.
Yeah, I'm gonna be surprised if he does end up catching up to him. I think Kingsbury and Clog, they just gotta sit there and just kind of lay back here and save the tires, because if they can save the tires till the end here, then they're in business.
Yeah, you're only going to be stationary on pit road for about, let's say, 7 or 8 seconds, taking all 4 tires and the splash of fuel if you need it. So these guys, if they do need to come in to switch back onto another set of red tires for Kingsbury and Clog, you're going to have to see where that plays out. Greenfield, though, as I think he is on the blacks as well. So your front 2 are on the alternate reds. They're going to be wearing themselves out. Trevor Greenfield is the one that's off cycle from those 2. But he is currently running the same. He pitted the same lap that those guys in front of him have as well. By the way, Christian Malcherik and David Adams right now are currently 5th and 11th. But those guys, even though they aren't even on the same lap, they're battling very hard. Actually, they are on the same. Yeah, my timing just hasn't updated yet. Never mind. Ignore me. Looks like David Adams, yeah, he just pit, so he hasn't cycled through yet on my timing and scoring. But he is trying to hold on to, I believe, what's now going to be the 10th position. Yeah, so Malchar trying to do everything he can. Victor Aldrich is that Team Watson racing car, that purple, teal, and yellow that's in front of them. So those Team Watson racing guys, you'll see them all running the same colors throughout their schemes. So I think they've got a full squad that's going to be running here this season, but only a couple of them were able to make tonight's race. I know that Josiah Wellwood said that he was unable to attend tonight, but these guys just doing their best out there. You see another car that is leaving the pits. That's Dan Ensch getting back on track after taking some repairs. So Dan just doing what he can to protect his position. I don't think there's anyone behind him on track that is still currently running. And there you see just... sorry, that's Victor Aldrich pulling off to the side. They're letting these 2 cars go by, and he's just kind of doing what he can to hang around with them, maybe see if something happens. We got 5 laps to go right now as Ray Kingsbury starts to pull away.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe this race has kind of flown by pretty quick here. But yeah, Aldrich just, hoping these guys make a mistake. It's awesome to see the sportsmanship in this series. It's been something that we've always been about. And just he's pulling aside, letting the faster guys go. I mean, if you run somebody down for example, 6 seconds down, it's like, yeah, of course they're going to be racing against each other, but it's like, come on, hey, can I move past? Can you cut me a little bit of a break? Suppose we got a car around there.
Yeah, you saw Mike Berry went around, but he got things pointed back in the right direction. And then that's Hickman, currently 15th, last car on the lead lap. He just went around as well, but no contact, doesn't look like, so he's going to keep things going. Yeah, Mike Berry in the beverage machine. I believe most drivers, just from getting a good look at that paint, can try to figure out which one he was going for there, but gotta love that dude. He's so much fun to have here in the booth. But you know what? I wouldn't trade him. I definitely wouldn't trade you away there, Dylan. I'll keep you here all season.
Oh, I appreciate that.
4 laps ago, we said time flies when we're having fun, and I'm not going to speak for you, but hey, we're having a blast up here in the booth, so.
Oh, without a doubt. It's definitely been fun to call these races side by side with you, and welcome to the ASN team, too, and thanks, Zach Johnson, for, again, being a longtime partner with ASN, helping us out with the directing today. Huge help. He's been a huge help to me and been a good friend for many years. So, Zach, thank you for putting out this beautiful broadcast here.
I gotta say, I feel a little sorry for Zach having to put up with you, but Mike Berry around once again.
Well, he's put up with me probably about as long as Josh has put up with me. So,
I've only known Josh for about 2 or 3 years now, and I already can't stand him. But hey,
I know how we're still friends. I have no idea. No, Josh is a great guy. It's good to see him get some time away from the booth and let us run things for a while he's fighting on track here.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I stepped aside from what little I was doing in the booth before to run on Rallycross nights. So now Josh out of the booth, onto the track, and he's currently in the top 10.
Yeah, and with me stepping out of an admin role and more into the booth, there's a couple of these races I might be absent in the booth for. I might want to run them because, man, IndyCar or excuse me, not that open wheel cars are really fun to run at ovals. So I don't count me out.
I was going to say, I was tempted to do the same. I think we might have to cancel our broadcast for the 500K at the end of the season, just because I think we're all going to want to run it.
You're right.
In reality, you know what? These guys are making this make me look like I don't even have a shot out there. So maybe not. Maybe I'll just stick here in the booth and kind of hang out with Zack. We'll have to see at the end of the season when that runs around. But another car, and that's Wesley Blanton that is spun coming out of the final corner. He's going to get things pointed back in the right direction. This is a beautiful battle here that we're looking at on track, and making his move to the left side. You see the red tires; those are going to be faster, and he's just going to absolutely fly by there.
Yeah, pretty easy pass there.
As we cross the line now, taking, I believe, 2 to go. Yes, 2 to go for Ray Kingsbury. He's got a 3-second lead there. You see the gap back to Josh Clogg. This is not going to be a ton of time left here for Trevor Greenfield. He is running some pretty quick laps, but unfortunately it's not going to be quick enough for him to catch up. Blake Reynolds seems to be in about the same boat. It looks like the both sets of tires have seemed to plateaued off for these guys. It all just depends on how you can handle the worn tires.
Yeah, and really, I mean, Ray's the most consistent person in the field, I would say. So if you're going to try to beat Ray, you got to really be consistent. And if Ray, on the off chance, does make a mistake, you got to be there to pounce. With him being about 3 seconds back, I'm not sure if that's going to be enough room to pounce for him, though.
Oh, absolutely zigzagging all across the track there. And these guys have been going at it for a little bit now. And you see just now tucking back into line. I believe, is that Josh Mertz that has lost the position to Seth Rawls? It is, yes. So Mertz, we just talked about him being in 7th. He gave the position up to Adams pretty easily, but Rawls just flew by on the straightaway.
Yeah, Josh is kind of a sitting duck right now on those older or on the harder compound, I believe.
I have to see. I think, yeah, Josh is on the softer compounds, but being
Gotcha.
13 laps into the run, those tires have to be absolutely shot. He's got the oldest tires on track. He's also out of push to pass, we're being told. So he is literally a sitting duck if anybody around him does have push to pass around him. So final lap, the white flag is out there. You see Barney waving it furiously in the background as Ray Kingsbury just doing his best to just crank laps out left and right here. As there you see a lap car out in front. I believe that's Mike Berry that we saw having some issues on the last lap or a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be an issue for him getting around this lap traffic, but you never know. It's never over till it's over.
Yeah, that's the thing is, you know, these guys, very respectful racers. They know when to give positions up and when to move out of the way. But you know, something might happen. There might be a miscommunication between them or something like that. But Kingsbury, you see they're all over the back, and he's going to just have to tuck in line. There's not very many passing zones through this first part of the track. If you don't catch him going into turn 5 or maybe turn 7, you're going to have to wait quite a bit through the carousel here and working his way around. So he's going to do away with one of those cars at least. And there you see the next one in front. He's got some work to do, though, as the gap is still about 2.5 seconds back to Josh Clogg. He has a little bit of time to play with.
Yeah, that's always nice building in that breathing room. I mean, that's the whole reason why you don't quit while you're ahead on, you know, tracks like this is you never know when that passing opportunity is going to come. And if it comes in the last lap, that's definitely not a surprise that you want at all.
Yeah. Speaking of, you don't know what's going to happen. You just saw a car off on the exit of Canada corner there. But no harm, no foul. And out of the final corner, Ray Kingsbury up the hill. And there's trouble back behind, but thankfully your second place runner, Josh Clogg, gets through that one clean as well. But Ray Kingsbury, the winner of the inaugural race. Mike Berry going to come to a rest just before the finish line. So next car that's going to be coming across the line here is going to be Trevor Greenfield. He's got a couple of more corners to go to get there, though. And there you see the Spark car. Just a couple more corners there. That was the lapped car, I believe, behind him. That was the 42 of Kieran Forrest. Yes, so they were actually on the same lap. Wow. I was. Anyway, Trevor Greenfield going to finish third, then Blake Reynolds, and then David Schofield and Kieran Forrest, your sixth place finisher. These guys having a blast out there, and I'm getting ready to see. This is the last battle here on track. Is that's Seth Rawls and Malcharik out of the last corner up the hill, and it's going to be Seth Rawls holding on to the 8th position. Just a handful of finishers left, but man, Dylan, such a fun race to get us kicked off with here in the Arcade Designs Championship Series.
Yeah, no doubt. I was definitely on my toes for all of it, pretty much. I mean, we had a lot of guys, a lot of side-by-side racing, a lot of good strategy that was playing out. And in the end, it was just pretty much consistency that won the race by Ray Kingsbury.
We're going to have to... Oh, wow. We've got a couple of guys. That's Josh Mertz that didn't finish. I saw him drop a couple of spots, but I didn't realize what had happened to him. And is that Victor Aldrich there as well, trying to just do what he can to limp across the line? Can he get there? He's got no front tire. No, he cannot. So I believe that's going to give Victor Aldrich the position. Here's a look at the replay. Mertz forces Aldrich onto the grass at the pit entrance.
Tires.
And Mertz got stuck in the tires. Aldrich then had to go left. And you see there, he completely sheared off his front left tire. And his front right was gone as well. And yeah. I don't know how many spins that was, but that was quite a few there. Yeah, you see there's no way he's going to be steering there. He tries to just keep his foot in and limp across the line for the 11th spot. I think that's going to be where he finishes. Yeah, so real quick, we'll go through a full field rundown here while we wait for these guys to hop into the booth. So it's going to be Ray Kingsbury taking the win, then Josh Clogg and Trevor Greenfield, followed by Blake Reynolds and David Schofield, Kieran Forrest, David Adams, Seth Rawls, Christian Malcharik, and Joe Branch finishing up in the 10th spot. Dylan, what's the next 10?
Next 10, we got Victor Aldrich in 11th, Wesley Blanton in position 12. Josh Mertz is going to end up one lap down in 13th position. Cody Cosgrove is in 14th position. 15th position goes to Brian Schoen. 16th place goes to Christopher Hickman. 17th, Chris Dickinson. 18th, Michael Berry. Dan Ench in 19th. And Flynn Lazier is going to round out your top 20. Rest of the guys on Gilligan's Isle here, we got Cody Erdman, 21st, Jack Belton, 22nd, Matt Kingsbury in 23rd, Robbie Larill, 24th, 25th place, Tom Abromatis, 26th, Magnus Okenhaug, Nick Indelicito in 27th, and last two guys, Jacob Falcon and Twan Vandeveld, did not start.
What a fantastic race. But hey, we're going to start things off here in the booth with the winner of the first ever race in the series that he sponsors. Ray, how does it feel?
Feels really good. It was a really fun race, some great driving. It was a couple scary moments for us. We prepared a lot, but we didn't run much in packs, and we were having some overheating issues, actually, all of our cars.
I was going to say, you're talking about overheating issues. Your teammate, Flynn Lazier, his engine got too hot, and unfortunately he had to retire from, I think he was running second or third at the time. Were all you guys running the same setup, or?
For the most part, yeah, it was a pretty highly developed setup. And Flynn pushes it just a little harder than I do, as is evidenced by the fact he climbed all the way from 10th all the way up to me by the end of the first stint. So, he was working it a little harder, and after the pit stop, the temps were up. Mine were up too. And we got stuck behind Blake, and there was no clean air on the car. And his strategy was to send it and try to pass Blake and get in the clean air because that's how he's going to beat me. And mine was just to back off and, I knew Blake had to pit again, so hope for the fact that the car would cool down and just manage my gaps behind.
Yeah, and what was it like there realizing that you were on the opposite tire strategy of guys like Trevor or even Blake? You guys started on the blacks compared to them on the reds.
Yeah, we wanted to start on the blacks. My philosophy is that it's easier to go from the blacks to the reds for braking points than it is from the reds to the blacks. And you have a whole lap under pace lap to warm the tires, which worked great, except I got a little terminal understeer. Didn't have them quite warmed enough, and I did push off in the carousel. But we recovered. Blake drove us great. I love racing Blake. I almost hit him close to just past halfway. When he was pitting in, his breaking point with the tire fall off was a lot earlier than I was expecting. But he's just such an aware driver. He was able to avoid it.
And a couple final questions for you, man. What first race of the series in its entirety. What are your thoughts on the just on the series in general?
I'm excited. It was a good car count tonight. Everything I saw, the top 5 was just really close for almost the whole first half of the race. You had 12 guys on the lead lap, and that's for a first race. So I think that's a really good sign. I'm really happy with the driving standards I saw out there. Nobody really held me up when I was lapping them. Really happy with it, and happy for the Spark guys with the result we had tonight. DriveSBR.com LLM, and then of course the Arcade Designs LLM guys, also sponsored by Spark. I think we made up 5 out of the top 6. So
I was gonna say, man, I was gonna ask you about your shout-outs, but it looks like you just gave them all.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, Ray, congratulations on the first ever win here in the Arcade Designs Championship Series, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Chad.
That's Ray Kingsbury, your winner here. Next up is going to be your second place finisher, Josh Clog. Josh, what a race.
Yeah, that was a close one. Pretty action-packed in the beginning. From the start, I just kind of wanted to take it easy. I was hoping to go an extra lap on the fuel. I was like a tenth or two of a liter short to being able to go an extra lap. I think it would have been a lot closer if I was able to do that, but it was close.
It was. We talked about it on the broadcast. We just talked to Ray about it, but first ever race in these cars with some familiar competition. What are your thoughts on everybody in these unfamiliar territories?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. The cars are a handful, but it's very good racing when you can get a nice group and pack together like that.
We've seen you a fair amount over in the sports cars, but now what's it like making the switch over here?
Much more natural. The sports cars are pretty foreign to me, really. I'm, from the start, I was kind of about the open wheel, high downforce cars. So this is much more up my alley than the sports cars, really.
And as we wrap things up here, man, congratulations, second place finish. Anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs for you?
Yep, all the Spark guys for helping out with the practice and setup. It was a smooth car all night long, so definitely doing something right.
Well, hey, congratulations on the second place finish, and we'll see you the rest of the way.
All right, thanks.
That is Josh Clog, your second place finisher for Team LLM, and a bunch of those guys for Team Spark really did a great job out there tonight. As we've got one more guy for that team to bring in here, Trevor Greenfield. Trevor, first ever race in the series, but man, we see you taking the flag here across line on the replay. But man, what a race for you!
Understatement of the year. Thanks, Chad, and pleasure to be here with ASN and yourself, and Dylan, Zack. Awesome race. I had no idea I was going to be racing like for 30 minutes or 40 minutes maybe ahead of time. I found out one of the drivers wasn't going to be here, and so I was like, okay, I could do it. And I love Road American and IndyCar, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Wow. Just hearing that blows my mind, because I step into a car and the first thing I do is bin it. So, what's the mindset getting thrown to the wolves like that?
Not that weird. Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of times where I don't have much time to get into the car and do like a lot of ramp up practice. It's like sometimes for fixed race or something, I'll just go in and try it for about 10 laps and see how I do. And you learn a lot that way also. But I have a lot of laps of practice. I held the 2021 qualifying world record here for the IndyCar. I don't know if I still do, but I did at the time. So it was pretty easy. It's like driving a bicycle again.
I mean, man, you got to teach me how to. I can't even drive these cars, nevertheless, anything that turns right. But it was a ton of fun to watch you out there. What were your thoughts on the competition as this was the first race for the series?
Well, it's tough. Obviously, Ray is legendary and amazingly talented, and so to even come close to keeping up with Ray is always a blessing. But the setup was awesome, and the team last lap, Spark, VR, and Ray and Josh put in a lot of time upgrading it this week, and we had actually developed this setup for another league race a while ago. So they've upgraded it since then. It was just like, here you go. But the competition was awesome. I mean, I had a little run-in with Blake. He kind of NASCAR'd me going into the corner, but I went off course and I just tried to settle down and see if I could get back on strategy and get the black tires working on the second stint, and it seemed to settle down. I got some pretty good laps, like in the 45s, low mid 45s. So I was running pretty quick at the end, and I felt pretty good about it. Yeah, it was nice competition. A lot of guys at the front that I've run with, and good racers. So a lot of names in this field that I recognize and are good racers. So great to race with them.
Your tire strategy was the opposite of basically everybody around you. Is even your teammates up in front of you. So what was the choice there going with the Reds at the start?
Just a hunch. Plus, it doesn't ever hurt, in my opinion, if we're on a team, somebody's doing one strategy, for at least one of us to be on a flip opposite strategy. That doesn't hurt. Gives us an opportunity for the win if something goes wrong with the others. But still, for me, the thought really is just be on red tires at the start, and if it gets hotter towards the end of the session, be on black tires. That didn't actually happen, but then also if I was going to have to go longer at the end because of fuel saving or something, that I would get that extra lap or two on the black tires.
Well, hey, it was a great performance for the team in general. You guys took the top 3 spots. So, as we wrap things up here, man, who do you have to thank?
Well, as I said, Spark VR, and then Arcade Designs, Penguin, lots of great sponsors now part of this league. And then obviously thank you guys for doing the commentary, and Ray Kingsbury for continuing to believe in me and build our team and build this league. It's always, it's awesome. And the teammates that we have are great, part of Last Lap Motorsports.
I was like, I've known you for a while just from the team chat over there, and it's great to see you here and getting a step on the podium. So congratulations there, and we'll hope to see you for some more races down the road.
Thanks, Chad. See you then.
That's Trevor Greenfield, your 3rd place finisher. Dylan, it was a fantastic race. Any final thoughts from you?
That it was. I think it was about the best you can get as far as, the strategy was concerned. We got a lot of side-by-side racing. A lot of guys battling really hard for the lead. I mean, just hard battles all throughout the field, and overall an exciting race. I thoroughly enjoyed it. What about you?
Oh, it was fantastic to watch, and I can't wait for the rest of the season. But I mean, that just about wraps it up. You summed up my thoughts pretty well, and we've got another broadcast to get ready for tomorrow night right here. So join us tomorrow night. Think the same-ish time, same Twitch channel, and we'll see you guys next for the sports cars tomorrow night. But don't forget to stop by same time, same place next week, where we have 2 at Texas. That's right, we're going to do twin races from the Texas Oval, and that's going to be a blast to watch and commentate and do everything involving that one. But for everybody here at the Automotive Sports Network, NASA, as well as Nitro Circus, Matt Kingsbury, Petey, Dylan, Zack, Josh, just everybody on board here at all the organizations involved. It's been such a fun race to call, and I can't wait for the rest of the season. But from everybody here at NASA, Automotive Sports Network, and Nitro Circus, We'll see you tomorrow night for the sports cars.